figures announced by ECSL. The SLPP-led government, on the other hand, is not slowing down with governing. New appointments are being made and approved by Parliament. The president has made overtures to the opposition party, which, of course, they've obviously not countenanced. The Independent National Peace Commission has done the same. Looming, however, is a threat of an impending citizen-led demonstration on Monday morning, which has the potential to threaten the peace and security of the country. With the political class perpetually opposed to each other, as we can say in Creole, they know they see eye to eye. Tonight we ask the question on peace, security, and national cohesion. Where are we? My name is John Conte, and this is AYV on Sunday. Good evening, and welcome once again to AYV on Sunday. Today we're assessing the state of peace, security, and national cohesion in certain. Follow us on DSTV channel 399, radio 101.7 FM, and our AYV News Facebook page and other social media platforms. Send in your thoughts, comments, and I'm sure questions. We'll find time to go through them later on in the program. Here with me, I have a star-studded panel to help unpack this 2-hour discussion. I have Andrew Lavalley, the Executive Director of IGR, Chairman, of course, welcome, Andrew.
Good evening. Good evening.
I have Chairman of the National Council for Civic Education, Kalilu Tatanji. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
And I have the Director of Communications, Office of National Security, Abdul Karim Will. Welcome, Abdul.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
All right, gentlemen, good evening. Welcome once again to AYV on Sunday. We aim to mention, quite a few things. Electoral cycle, then periodic, after 5 years, ICAM is supposed to go immediately after that. But in the case of Sierra Leone, it seemed like, the fever around the election still no one for end, even though results will be announced. The opposition still, they hold on to the fact, say they need to see more figures, they need to see more results, or participation for them at zero. It will not happen at all. In fact, they still not go, parliament yet with the one that we win. The one that win are the mayor and chairpersons, they still not reported. Few, a small number from the parliamentarian, they don't go to parliament, but the other one, the majority still, they say we're not going until we see or our demands be met about the disaggregated figures we're supposed to get. Andrew, let's start off with you. Like we mentioned, electoral processes, they're supposed to come and pass smooth one. But how did we get to Usari so they elected it as a country?
Thank you very much. I think this is very important because inside Salon, every day is an election day. Every day is a polling day. Election comes once in every 5 years, but it appears as if politics 9 we live with. But where they talk to a number of Sierra Leoneans, they don't want for a day just to talk about politics. Just last week, I don't know if not yesterday night, just in this WhatsApp forum, where some people, it's easier for Sierra Leoneans than go to Guinea-Conakry and fly out of the country than for use Lunge Airport, even though we don't get a brand new airport. Today I just come upline, I travel by the toll road, I pay 4,000. They ask, when this get for stop? Waiting at the contract. So the thing was for discuss for let country go before, we don't left them. We actually sort blabber among big people then. So I almost refuse for counter this conversation because I know say no to this for the talk about. We're going to street a lot of young people, they don't get jobs. And all of them here and they actually track we back. In the last 2-3 weeks, we don't see 2 times fuel price increase. And so and then here they eat deep into people's livelihoods. So if somebody talks, say, with a go on strike, with a done demonstration, everybody for be nervous because you get a willing set of people when they do nothing, they will just join the bandwagon. And given what's in happen, especially around French West Africa, I see a lot of countries in British West Africa, we just sit on, we're nervous. So to me, whilst I applaud waiting to happen, the peace talks, the overtures, the peace commission, the thing what they do, whilst all and fine, we always therefore make sure say we not do them at the expense of sacrificing with democratic process, with due process. We not undermine with judiciary at the end of the day because if somebody lost election one day or somebody then do election and not satisfied, let me just take the word loss. If they do election, somebody not satisfied one day, they talk. In fact, me, I not even go court. I go, I just boycott. We go cease, forget a country that we call Sierra Leone. So I think this is very important.
Andrew, in as much as you're making very valid points. But then When you start earlier, you say this. You think, say, I mean, there are other important things they all need for talk about. Instead of waiting with the talk about so they elect today, but you're making quite valid points. One of the points they make, Kalilu, I'll come back to you because you talk about that in our the fact, say, if people then decide, say, after elections are happening, result come out, then they go court, then go boycott. I mean, that now team will affect the establishment, the setup of the democratic processes where we get. That you find out, say, now Parliament is overwhelmed by one political party. You need to get alternative voice, then they for argue certain things out, but they happen. So, hanging on the words of Andrew now, where they say we'll wake up one day, we'll find out, so we'll not get a count again, we'll call Salon Kalilu.
Yeah, it's very concerning because even the election, it gets the due process. Panam, they get the Electoral Act of 2022 or 2023 or something, 2022. Mm-hmm. We lay out how people for conduct election. If you're not satisfied with the election, the process we for follow, all things laid out. Unfortunately, for the country, we know one for follow down there some group, especially the main opposition, they say they're not satisfied with what happened, but they're not going to use the channel where the law say for follow. And we, now the Council for Civic Education, we always believe say people for follow the laws them. I just get back to the big democracy we all can look up to America. We, Mr. Trump, if you say the election not going away, it not be safe, not be go the right way. Go people then go demonstrate on in behalf. Now the Congress, now the Parliament. We don't know now. Say some of them people they don't get 17 years, some of them don't get 20 years jail. That means say them may believe say the only way where you go protest an election and for go through the legal process of the law. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that don't be happen. And we country not afford that. Because the more we do that, the more people that we will above say there will can be tourists then to we will put money in Ghana to my in Fana market. Mm-hmm. We will go to a restaurant or cookie shop and eat something. All man the loss. And all manner for loss because this country we're in a very bad state. We know they produce better. We rely on people then for country, tourism, for more we'll get something. If we say we do that, even agriculture will go forward. Then a bad state we will continue to in. So me and we own institution, we own point of view always is that thing will happen. There's a tit and tongue kinjam. Thing they happen where people not go like our country. But when they say the Lord is saying and so for do, more do and so. Someone say, hey, I know we're gonna court because the court all bias. But this court, not to one day they set this court up. This court don't do for eternity. They say, hey, I know rely on police because police bias. We're not today we begin to recruit police. All the money within at the top of the police until they don't do themselves before Anes in term. They don't do it before Pakama in term. But come on, don't they inside this police for
but Kalilu, why you think they're going to make such comments? Why you think they're going to make such allegations?
Well, an effort, you know, you someone can say then throw the child out with the bath water for confuse all things, for make all things look bad so that nobody will accept anything with they be. And they're not to the way for go. Because this police, when we talk about, it don't serve successive governments. It is serve this government. Is there a culture? And the police, when they recruit, not a foreigner. Now, brother and sister then, when I say and then the police. The judiciary, same way so. Now, brother and sister then they did it. So if there is a fundamental issue about we as citizens who need for correct, we go for sit down to we self, more say A, B, C, D, don't they work well for country, more try for fix them. But if we say we just go baranta, we say this is not the work we need to deal with them, this is not the work we need to deal with them. It not all go well for the future of this country. Then we can tell people and say more look at the state of our country, more look at all the ramifications of everything we do. Some man says some benefit away for Canada this country. They say they don't have many benefits sky again because of this politics where they talk about. So every day na politics, every day na politics, enough fight for no country.
But back to the police and the judiciary. You make mention, say, I mean, a lot of people go to say the police bias. Why the one way perhaps then at the opposition no go afraid for take them matters to the police way. Remember before results were announced, there heavy firing at the opposition APC office, and a woman lost in beautiful life. Few other things that are happening where requests for them for protest, peaceful one by the same opposition not be granted. Why you think say they not go hold such things and think, no, listen, we can't trust them. I also for say they go secure you or they go protect me or things go happen. Judiciary, some cases still not get result yet from the judiciary. Why you think say that if they get matter like that also as tough and as high as getting the election results, then go take and go to the courts of Sierra Leone.
This is all unfortunate, especially any life lost, any life of a Sierra Leonean lost needlessly, very bemoaning. We all sorry for that Mami we die in family. May God sorry for him. May God keep and succor in family. But something we talk about now, the police are an institution, not a one-day police form, not a one government form police. The police don't do from time we will not born yourself, and we don't know now. Say there is a thing with it about the police so SFP be in the opposition. Would they beaucoup complain they come out from them for the police? They can in government. APC will be in charge of the police, then go to opposition. Then now they bring beaucoup complain about the police. What I think we should do as nationals then, we should look at what is wrong with our system. Let's have a table around this, more sit down, more talk about what's wrong with the system, what's for correct time. But for say, I'm not going to deal with the judiciary. Because if you say the judiciary bias, but the authority, think say the judiciary bias. Same way so, if time come where SFPP go into opposition, then they go begin complaining about the police and the judiciary and all of that. Why don't we, as nationals, have a foolproof system in place where will ensure say you police you don't work for the country, you don't work for president, you don't work for government.
But will that ever happen?
It should happen.
How don't it go happen?
It's happening in places. For instance, the law court in America, when Mr. Trump is in charge today, then charge a young man the way they work for him. Then jail some man them. Why is that? They created a system. What we should do as a nation is to create a system, a foolproof system, so that the policemen when they come, will be IG. Say internal as IG, depend on the government where they in power.
A man where they get an appointment by the president.
Yeah. So now when they talk so now, the president will choose them. But if we put some mechanism in place, say there's a way for better IG, for sure say the best IG in place, they'll put some other system in place for ensure say the president will just grab one day and pull them. It will fight for you. Because there are other institutions, for instance, the president that appoint the chief justice, he will pull the chief justice, he will appoint this, he will pull them. But let us have a system in place. Because this democracy we talk about in a copy, we don't copy them. We try for make it fit our own system and our own culture. Because there's context to everything. We own context something a different small. But one thing I want people to know, let us be patient with one another. If we don't say, okay, the election, we don't agree with this, we don't agree with that. I was in politics in 2012. Where the SFPP say, they don't agree with this, they don't agree with that, they don't agree with that. But we can get level-headed people them inside the party say, hey, much as we don't agree with this, there's a low down procedure when at the court process, more follow them. Right. Whether they win, they not win, they may continue the court process. Everybody learn say, so far, we law say, we will not agree with election outcome that the court should go to. If you not go to the courts, then the problem at the beginning.
All right. Okay, Khalilu, I'll come back to you for make some more comments later on. But I want to come to Mr. Will now. Now, June 24, long gone now. After that point, they show how we security status as a country. Are we safe? Can I know left me window and the motor open, but can I walk through the streets of Freetown and say that I am safe and ONS get all under control?
So in spite of the efforts where people they don't make on social media, forget picture that a salon unstable or things will go bad tomorrow or next tomorrow. By the intelligence estimates and security assessment, we still they say Salon remain relatively peaceful. And quite recently, World Index on Security don't rate Salon as one of the most peaceful countries in the world.
All right, a lot of people might know what the parameters used for assess the security status, but lay them down for you so people already watch and view and listen to you on the radio. Go no say okay, this not the thing that you need for look for no say. Waiting will they say about we security status Leone relatively peaceful. It is really what it is based on the reality on the ground.
So normal day-to-day activities are gone. Like I say, social media don't become the greatest monster that we have, and that don't seem to be the pattern across the world. Where some people
but nobody is stopping ONS from using social media for strangulate that monster. They too for respond to them because it's the same platform that people are using for push the message. Myself get the same platform and possibly personnel for deal with that too.
Yeah, so they use them extensively. That's not the reason why maybe the most recent elections so we get on June 24th don't be acclaimed as one of the most peaceful elections.
Okay.
Before the elections, the whole world be thinks Salon will go into flames. That's not the reason why you see boku observers and come for monitor the elections. We are now saying we will forget the military for support the police in the provision of security. People will also be getting apprehensions around that kind of arrangement day. But when we go into the elections, true to our words, we promise the people of Sierra Leone and the whole world, say we will go for deliver a professional security. And I don't think we do exactly. But for social media, whilst we can counter, we can put the correct information and that kind of thing there. Now, individual choice for believe in the real thing or for deny them and choose for believe the wrong things. But after August 10th of last year, the same social media we people use will lead we onto that style event. People continuously use them for call other people again for car engage into their same activities and then call for.
Okay, so we'll only go back to the question I asked earlier. You come back to social media. I ask, you say security apparatus with all the analysis they don't do. You can say Salon relatively safe. So I say the parameters, waiting at the thing they want to look at. Number one, you mentioned day-to-day activities. Waiting at the other thing they want to look at, where people can say.
So what we can do,
Salon relatively safe.
What we can do with security classifications, into levels.
Okay.
They're level 1, level 2, or level 3.
Okay.
Level 1, now where things are relatively peaceful. Everybody they go about in normal business. We don't get anything where potentially they threaten the survivability of the country.
Okay.
At level 2, we now get a potential threat, so they threaten the security of the country, either in a pandemic or epidemic, that kind of thing. At level 3, there is degeneration of security, nothing not a function.
Okay.
But you go agree with me, say, every facet of a society, they function. They go on as expected. Every society in the whole world, they get their own challenges.
Okay.
But then the ability of the institutions we government established, really in place, for respond to their challenges, and they are very, very much important. And so far, I think, say, all of the institutions within a salon, they got the capacity, they're in charge. Now, that's the reason when they talk, say, the country still remain relatively peaceful. in spite of all of the efforts, we particularly, sadly so, with brothers and sisters, some of them, that the diaspora they make for present a different picture. And we can say it difficult for enforce law. It difficult for wield the baton because the person way in our favor will go always cry foul. But with interventions as a sector, they can be informed by events. We not go just jump into actions, we go take this and that kind of thing. Now that make we appeal over the period, now for let people and follow due process. The country where we talk about, now country we governed by the rule of law. And if we are governed by the rule of law, it is expected that if we want for also enjoy the rights that we ask for, we say for also play our own part in meeting with responsibilities. Let we say, for example, the issue of demonstrations. We not ever deny say demonstrations are one who are not recognized. By we law safe na salon, demonstrations are fully recognized. Now just that processes in the way somebody for go through, if you want for going to demonstrations. And one of them one they not to begin for threatening the peace of the country. Using social media, say on XYZ data, who can't do this, if person not join me, I will do this bad thing to them. Now not to demonstrations any longer. They call for riots. And the same law we give you right for demonstration, it also prohibits riots. And riots are ghost now one way mad by violence. And so if we want to follow democratic path, we also therefore also follow the path will lead to that democracy. Not for do things and we go undermine the peace, we go undermine security. Tomorrow, then they call, say, let people come into the street and cause problem because that basically they don't call for. If we don't talk continuously, that do ya, we not fall for that one day. Then people
don't the one day where they call for. You have, of course, ONS. I mean, nobody know doubt the fact say unable for lay on our hands on any information on our want as far as security, primacy of the country is concerned. We don't have the one then where they call for demonstration tomorrow.
Unknown personalities, where most of them are Sierra Leoneans when reside abroad, whether in the United States of America, that the Netherlands, whether Holland, Australia, or UK. And now the same set of people they are using the same set of messages, the same set of deception for cow the people for do what they do in August last year. They say, in fact, right now, like they do last year, say that international community and they support the people and then go do demonstrations. That in fact the United States they support them. They do a tweet when they attach the Secretary of State to the United States say in face too. That Sierra Leone is just enough for take democracy and that kind of thing. These were all a deception and unfair because they use deception for win hearts and minds. At the end of the day, the law, not the law. The state institutions will get responsibility for enforce the law, then get obligation.
So unlike August 10 last year, where it seemed like it was underestimated, this year ONS, I noticed you've been all over.
Yes.
Virtually every possible media I don't tune to, I don't hear your voice or I don't see you on TV.
Exactly.
So this one, ONS, they say, listen, we the one owner, we they tell owner earlier that we don't know say this will get for happen, therefore they take all the measures then possible for prevent and not for happen.
Exactly. So it not go be again on account of a lack of information. Because until last year, they say, you know, not be talk to the people that much, you know, be understand. They fall for the calls that we come from social media because there was this communication gap. This time around, it not going to be for lack of information. Because we don't reach out extensively using traditional media, using social media, doing non-conventional engagements, one-to-one. Yesterday, contrary to waiting some people, and also they do the social media for give a different picture about the parade who do right around the country, right around the Western area.
So that was the question I was going to ask. Of course, gentlemen, I know you've not been in the Freetown. I don't know if you see that, but Kalilu, were you in Freetown?
No, I just came from Kenya.
So yesterday there was a huge parade of both, I'm sure that's MACP, military and police combined. They were around the city. I mean, I think that was a show of might or show of strength. That listen, try it with it. I mean, now we get with country, we still in control of what's in the happen. Una might come out with sticks and stones, but we get the guns and bullets, and even the hot water, to walk them for before they couldn't know see we there around. And Karim just to confirm that they really happened. I saw it. I have it on video.
Yeah, so
because I know see I get for there on AYB on Sunday.
So we refer to that show of strength as high assurance visibility security provision. Because don't forget, say last year.
But wouldn't that be misinterpreted by ordinary Sierra Leoneans the way them are meeting tomorrow and I will go free and say, police and soldiers don't come out on the street. Lala being Andrew Lavali in that. I see you're very concerned. I mean, we're beginning to talk about the video. You're very, very concerned. Wouldn't that be one way the people then go misinterpret, not understanding the message, waiting really ONS and the government of Salon they try to do, but then pull all the drink and then do.
Well, you know, unfortunately, Salon don't become so polarized. You see one group, they support the court, another group, no, they support the court. You see one group, they support security apparatus, another group say no, and they support them. So you see, say, in Afrobarometer, we've been pulled one report on cohesion, where they show, say, the number of people and where they talk, say, are ready for leave side by side with a neighbor from a different political party. Their number, then, way now, really now, big assets, it dropped by over 25 percentage points. So it's really alarming. So if you take Vox Pop now, you go on the street, you go ask, say, now this they happen at the court, so the amount of people anyway they talk, they are not trust them. You check their surnames. You will be able to associate them with one region. The amount of people anyway they talk, say, now I trust this. You check their surname. You will be able to associate them with one region. So I think we don't arrive at a very unfortunate position where the trust in institutions, Israel really they grapple with 20 years where the war done. So, and the institutions where the political parties are institutions, just like NEC, just like PPRC. So if the NEC, there are concerns about data, we need to see how they go around that question for allay the fears about concerns on data. Those who not trust you, you make sure they are trusted. I see this guy in Freedom of Information request where he put out on for Sengbe Mara. And definitely we associate ourselves with that call day. And strongly back me they encourage them, say, make the same call to new. All them groups in the way they get data on elections. Because you know why that is important? All of the results then, because this whole hue and cry is about the election. This person say, for don't win, another win. But we look at all of the data. Waiting NEC say, waiting ECSL say, waiting News say, waiting Basita then date opinion poll pool, waiting opinion poll pool, all the shows say President Bio was higher. So I think say Salon, the question is not legitimacy. The question is legality. So you talk say constitutionally, you get a threshold where you don't meet, even though you the lead, because that news say. So then it behoves leadership for lower down the rhetoric, for temper down the rhetoric, and for see how they move. So I think, John, there is legitimate fear amongst political groups and by extension regions and districts where they say, the way this country had to go, I'm in a country that I do not feel part of. So that's why to me, I'm glad the way President Bio talk say, I want to talk to them. Even though we talk about legality, we go through the law, the courts, but in circumstances like this, expedience past legality. We actually need to see how we solve this problem and live as a people. But I just want to take this opportunity to tell people small body election history. There has been no time where Salon election perfect.
Yeah.
In 1996, we were at the time of war. In fact, at the first time I made vote.
You're a big man.
Yeah, so the election, now two statements, Tijan Kaba and John Kerry Fasmat. Then Sidon, Tijan Kaba say, I take, James Donor at the time, say, I take 100,000 votes from you at the Senate to John Kerry Fasmat because there was overvoting. And Kerry Fasmat be need that numbers because na PR system, the whole country was one constituency. So if you get more numbers, it again parliamentary.
Yeah.
So they sort them out. In 2007, 477 polling stations from Beroa, largely from Beroa area, then cancel them. In party they say, I disagree, but then the GIA and Buam, they go persuade in, they say congratulations. So it's always difficult maintaining leadership. If leaders then say that they follow their followers, they will cease being leaders. You get to be a leader. The reason why you're a leader, because you get to traverse through the difficult place, where you don't reach sideways safe, they call you followers, they now say, when I can't join with. That's why you're a leader, they are followers. I believe, say,
But then what happened in 2012? You didn't
in 2012, back, yes, during elections, I'm glad you remind me. During elections, now the same thing. They do vote counting where Madam Top announced the results, and he say, if you get question, go police. We've been get standoff like for 3 days. Later on, the body of Christ prevailed on President Bill. He go meet President President Nkrumah, and they resolve.
But he went to court too.
Yeah, he went to court. Not me, Nkrumah go to President Nkrumah go court, President Bill go court, SLPP under Berra, they went to court. So I think say the judicial underperformance or then judicial mistrust, it don't get for go away. We get for see how we get for solve them. Now for that me, the thing what they look for in this election, I want for see how, like for example, in the APC manifesto, they actually deal with justice and security. Because look what happened with the candidate. The candidate was in New York at the time for campaign. If you reverse the clock 2018, now the same thing will happen to Yom Keller and Cameron Bar. Cameron will be able to campaign safe. You get to see him, you get this. So we get foresees that thing the way people in the passive say they use the justice for score political points. So I think so they talk about trust, whilst I understand who side they come up from, but I equally they actually get for be leaders. There is one thing just to wrap up where I feel say we do one project what they call votes. Vote, it means voices of tolerance in election. So there are certain things where some people can do. If they're not been doing during this election, now fire if I don't get. Like for example, Dr. Samora Kamara. Dr. Samora Kamara on 2 days to the election, he say, when I come out, go vote. Imagine if APC say we know they take part in this election. It would have been a different story. Yeah. So we get to see how at the end of all of this, law acknowledge say this is your role you play. You might not win everything, but you don't contribute to building a society. Look what in Commonwealth do. The Commonwealth then bring all the leaders then together. They say, when I can't sign a pledge form. And at any time they want to go away, citizens talk say, when I don't sign pledge, So there are many good things. And the good thing is Sierra Leone is still very high on democratic pedestal. We look at even Afrobarometer ranking. When they do one survey now, and they just watch the numbers, still 85% of people in talk say the only way for resolve with people with problems in this country are through the ballot box. So I believe say the teamwork for grapple with now how the state they perform, how for end corruption, how we for do the thing around equity and justice. And the only way we could do that now we they continue for test the institutions. You cannot make the justice system stronger by going out of court.
But Andrew, can the only political party in contention now with the results and doubting the numbers will be provided now the APC. Can they trust the judicial system for good test them for able to get the results where they need? I mean, look at when Dr. Samora Kamara the results or a judgment be announced on a matter. Where it be released for able for go running campaign.
Yes.
Where all through that period they not be able to do so. Can they trust that same system with delay the effect where the candidate be forget to that period they forgive them a result where then they look forward to after the elections?
Among all donor partners, since the war don't end, we don't spend over $150 million on strengthening justice. And APC SLPP don't manage the justice system. So they should not be afraid of the justice system. I think say it behoves us, it behoves them for come and lay their claims. So normally what the political parties then they do, then they field party agents. So let's say APC will get 15%, not even in the rest of the country, you get 15% of the results now this area from waiting me they see when they announce. Not to the results where SLPP sign will get, not to the results where APC sign. Then we're going to make progress. So I think say the concern really legitimate. Mr. Tutangi they say the question is around procedures. I think say if we sort down the out, we will go along. But I think John is good. We actually drive this point for say we concern the question of Sierra Leone. It's not about legitimacy. Because people, they talk, you holler about legitimacy.
Yeah.
Legitimacy, in a way, you overturn, possibly win election. You get to possibly not win election. That's a legitimacy issue. But when you watch NEC, the way ECSL within the question, ECSL say, Bio get 56%. Zamora get less than 50%. New say, Bio get above 50%. Then they get a range. But you don't forget, you don't be qualified for win the election first round.
Ballot.
So it doesn't mean, so it still get popular votes. And I would really want me brother them, wait and they on opposition side, let we see how we're able to talk about this openly. Me, if the day where they see with evidence, we don't push not only ECSL, we push the APC, we push new. If we not produce the evidence, then we're not going to form a broader coalition, because it's really about strengthening the institutions. But we just are not satisfied with this, but they actually produce evidence.
But if the evidence then come out, and what's he going to change if the evidence? Only the point say that ECSL, for instance, as an institution, go on loss if at all it go counter within the release in the first
But the
place,
good thing is in future, we in fact will go strengthen the laws and for say now this will be doing make we arrive at that. That's the relevance of evidence.
So we would only be looking for not present.
No. Depending on the gravity of the evidence, you see even right now, without they not even produce the evidence. You don't hear it from the US. They talk say with a bank sanction on them. It's really not to. It should not be. It's not a country on an island. You are part of a global community. So if APC bring calm, or other political parties then bring camps in.
But why is this they happen, Andrew? Can the APC leadership now just show leadership and say to them people there, listen, this is a democratic country. We're in a multi-party democracy we get. There should be more than one overwhelming party in parliament. We have councils, we get chairpersons and mayor. Can we go back and start working on, they from inside and make the noise from inside rather than be on the outside?
That's how it should be, because we get a lot of reforms that we want for push. We really want to let opposition actors then champion them as a private member bill, because we feel say opposition and civil society will always work together side by side. If election don't come, there are two things: either you win an election or you don't win an election. If you know why me they talk so? Because even before the election, we self-run numbers. People then will get concerned about those numbers for all they care, but it's not just IGR pool numbers. You understand?
Yeah.
Sarah, I pool numbers. We're consistent with what we publish. New pool numbers, the difference between IGR numbers and new numbers is around 3%. It could be within margin of error. So if we say 56% that you get, it's possible for say you go get 54.
I mean, there are several other people in private we do figures, we do numbers, they can show you the numbers, we then do their own forecast there.
Yeah.
We then do with the numbers where they will come in based on how the country get the political divide, with the numbers from the north and the northwest, and the numbers from the south and the east. So they can show you, say these are the numbers. We see them. If they're not, like you say, there will be margin of errors, but they're not go boku.
Yes.
They then all go there within the same range.
Yes.
But let me come to Kalilu now. These things they're all there around. Unfortunately, like we Andrew say, we've been for the talk about something else, but we can't avoid talking about the current status, because as it is now, tomorrow people will say they go come on the street and go demonstrate, and like Abdul will don't say, then they tell people and say, if you don't do this, we go do that, and they change now from a demonstration to a riot we want to cause trouble. This now enough reason for people and for take to the streets and say we go for test the security apparatus and see the trend where they get.
We don't talk about leadership. Always when I don't talk about you and Andrew, so now about leadership, political leadership. For make me and you go sit down at this table, so we talk, the whole country, the Syria. Now just the grace of God. Because others than they we didn't say able for sit on the government could not sit on the. Same thing to the leaders them. Others than the political party or the country or the community way for lead. But when God put them in that place they where they in leadership, they should try as much as possible for protect the people that will follow them. Now that's the thing we are not able to understand about all of these issues about going out and demonstrating clandestinely. Now, we don't see a president who don't come out. I hope it's authentic. It don't come out from the APC party. They say, although the people that want for demonstrate, which they don't say, they tie the sentiments tie into what they get. They know they support a demonstration.
So I don't know, but my producers then confirm Sudan they know to be authentic.
So then I
think we'll talk about the ills of social media where you get
exactly. There's so much development. Well, that's why I was hoping beyond hope that it was authentic, because one of the issues that we've been get inside the lab, I've been in a studio that 9 o'clock in the morning where they talk about this issue where the breaking news comes, say people in the demonstration and this time. I mean, I strongly believe say a political party where it don't command over 1 million votes.
Over 1 million votes.
Over 1 million votes of the citizens there. Then for take responsibility for make sure say something like this, where like demonstration, where people don't know that we lead this demonstration and all of this, then not for be part of the demonstration they separate. Whether they share their ideas, they not share their ideas, we have not seen that. I hope they will do that, because ultimately it's about the lives of people. Last time, na me come on and host na Angola town. I go pong na Kisi Mes police station. We send them and get kiss them, small picking them. Where they come out with the upline and bring them come. Police go meet them inside one house, they hold them. So we've been going for guide the police, because they may be in the police for make sure say they do the right thing. Tell the police involve social welfare ministry and more make sure say we'll get them picking them back to the parents there. We don't want that kind of situation happening in this country anymore. We cannot use our children as fodder. Nobody in ambition if override the aspiration of a country. Now that we believe in, and we can always say that about all of this thing about whether win, whether no win. What we always insist on, there is a process and procedure.
Yeah.
If you feel cheated, the law says that's what you do. But if you don't do them, the one who they support you, so they not to say, not to the leadership will control themselves. They will believe say because the leadership not take the procedure, then will take the law into their own hands. And that's why I'm very pleased that I don't hear you say the government willing for sit down with the opposition, many eye on and out. Do ya? Whether you support party A, you support party B, party C, where the leadership say, then they sit down and talk, when allow them time and talk. And when self in the leadership, when I make people they know say, when I ready for student and talk, because I remember that time when they go towards the election, when they get a lot of problem. If I say I've been making me home, also will they come and go, And fortunately, we've been going for go whole meeting with them. Then they say, okay, right, now they say put now the social media. They say, all man go out and vote. All to be from ECSA don't agree, when I go out now and vote. I want men to show that same leadership where they show before the election. Men to show them, do ya, we're picking a life. Let me tell you something, my brother. Me, I know families within my own community, na Godrich, where if they don't go out and come, they don't cook on a net. And if you allow them, they don't go out and come today. They don't go out and come tomorrow. They don't go out and come the next day. Starvation happen in that neighborhood day. And we cannot do that to our people. If God don't help we don't learn small things, we don't keep position, we don't get paid. In every facet of our life, somebody get more money past the other company. Do ya? Unfortunately, people them will not get that standard will get more, not make them sleep hungry. that would be very unfair. Even in the sight of God, it's very unfair. If we can talk about our own aspirations, we can talk about the power we want, we will talk about what we want for B. Let us bring it on the table. When the politicians when sit down, when talk and sample, we will advise, we will guide, and we will get that talk so this country will get peace. But it's very unfair. At the chair for I am from Peking for going to school tomorrow. If my man can't tell me, say, Daddy, you want me to go to school tomorrow? They say, oh, Kuskas the B. I say, Kuskas the B. So I know for I am from, okay, me I am and left arm. Tomorrow if Kuskas be not go school, but me go take and go school, it's school the B. So it's a whole lot of flux. That means say, they will pick in for take over we now. We know I made a land like a we because all man if we say Kuskas na in the order of the day. It should not be that way. It's not a citizen-led action. We now Naxid with preach citizenship. We say right plus responsibility equals to citizenship. If you say you get this right, the law saying and so for go about and then the responsibility for go about.
So what's now the citizen and responsibility tomorrow? The
citizens and the responsibility
tomorrow.
Now for not for participate in anything we could bring chaos to this country. Because if chaos come, then say the loss.
Thank you very much, Khalilu Tutangi. I'll come back to you, Abdul Will. If you just joined me, this is OIB on Sunday, wherever you're watching us from across the globe. Go to the Facebook page and drop a comment. We will take your comments later on. Now, Abdul Karim will come out now at the Office of National Security, and then they take care of security generally in the country. Today we talk about peace, security, and national cohesion. Where are we after the June 24th elections? Abdul, I'll come back to you now and ask a question about Tutangi's talk about people their responsibility tomorrow. Now, be sure say they not take part by anything we get for do with any form of demonstration, any form of riot. Now, can the people trust the security sector tomorrow for step out of the street and go about their normal business and say we believe, say things are safe, things are okay, we can just go about our business and do it we get for do?
A straightforward answer to that is yes, because I've been referenced the period leading to the elections. We've been getting kind of apprehension here. Some people have been threatened saying they will cause problems. But we assure the people and we deliver on that. So yesterday, that parade will be take place. Will not just be a pass, because we know you get a tendency for instill fear in people. We don't have to play in the hands of the people who they misuse social media for also continue for amplify what they want to achieve. The broader objective now for do the scaremongering among the population. So we go and engage communities. We get speakers mounted on vehicles, loudspeakers. We go team up and talk to people and do one-on-one engagement with all of the relevant people within the communities, whether in the marketplaces, whether in a place where people in the converge, parks, and so on and so forth. In fact, we come to Calbaton. We engage in two attire bases, two popular attire bases for the two main political parties as alone. We engage them and their engagement will be very fruitful. But for also states, the police or military they talk about na properties of the people of Sierra Leone. Then they therefore provide security for everybody, and therefore their presence anywhere at any time if will be one way for assure the people of their safety and security. So what we been doing yesterday, because we been learn a lesson from August 10, say within presence on some side and I may lead to the deaths of we police officers, we no go allow again for be taken by surprise. So therefore they everywhere. So we want, of course, one of the messages we send across are that the people therefore get trust in the security sector. We also tell them for let them refrain from participating in unlawful activities. They are unlawful because the manner for requests for demonstrations is stated in the law. And using social media or using threats.
Police generally can see, but unadina a place for able to know whether or not a request was made, they receive them, and get any approval. When we receive any request for demonstration on the 11th?
Before I come to this studio, we don't get any request of whatever sort relating to demonstrations. All of the calls they make the rounds are people from diaspora, and then they use social media for talk, say, they can't do this. And even then calls any way they make, now that's what they draw the public's attention to. Not to one day when a demonstrations that they call for. Then they call for riots. The difference between demonstrations and riots are that demonstrations, they're authorized by law and you get to follow due process for let you achieve that purpose there. Unlike riots, now one day we're mad by violence. And when we talk about violence, I will not only talk about a physical confrontation. Already from the onset, just like it happened in August 10, people that don't use social media for say we go do bad to people who will come out and straight for do X, Y, and Z. And they state the purpose. Because at the end of the day, if you purpose now one way, we're really unreasonable, then even if you ask for request, nobody will grant you that one day. Say when they come and take over governance, we'll kind of state house and bulldoze and that kind of thing. It only means say you have to unleash mayhem on a country with peaceful. So nobody, don't come forward, not an individual, not a group. So far, all of them calls when they make rounds on social media, they're not only incendiary, now one they were also faceless. And are the same set of people using the same pattern where they be used last year and
so if a face been there or a known group of people let me there or a known individual been there and request from the security sector on for grant them the permission for hold them demonstration.
So granting permission is predicated upon reasons, factors where you for don't meet. For letting grant you permission. So yes, I can answer. Maybe if somebody really mean what you want for do, you don't get any reason for hiding face from police. If you truly mean say you want for can demonstrate for change situation or for make let things happen fine, when they happen fine by your own definition, you don't get any reason for hiding face from police. Contrary to the message they send to people in here. Say overseas people they just demonstrate anytime, anyhow, without recourse to due process. Not true. Overseas also people they follow due process, and even when they follow due process, the conditions where they get is so stringent that they can't afford to go away from that one day. So nobody ask, nobody can meet police, nobody can not to acknowledge for ask say we want to go into demonstrations this time or what have you. So we say they call for so. Now, one way the outside of the law, and we remind members of the public because most of them are not. All of them people they call people and so forth can't demonstrate. They're not going for participate in the demonstrations directly. They only want for use other people banking on the facts that they believe in them. We possibly talk about the moral responsibility on leaders. Where somebody don't trust you for being a leader, you get for direct them rightly. Because for some people, as long as they come up from this person, no matter how wrong it be, they make any efforts for objectively analyze them. They believe in them and they jump into action. But for also remind we were there that every individual get a responsibility, they take action for your own responsibilities. So if you listen to like social media calls the way they put you into harm's way and go take actions, we go jeopardize the peace and security of the state, you will get yourself for blame. Their engagement, how they do so, now like for 4-1 people, so that I will give them enough armament, such that they don't go do things away wrong. So we patrol do yesterday. Now one winner for assure the public, let them know afraid, let them go about their normal business. We will protect them, we will provide security for them, and then one way we don't get intention for can't jump to the streets. Let them not fall for that kind of thing because then calls already call them for so the outside of the law.
And also want to take the message then to the different community then. But like you say, social media is the fastest call on the highway for information at the moment. It's where you can post anything and you guaranteed WhatsApp groups, for instance. You guaranteed for reach over 250 people at one go. On Facebook, if you get the right groups, you can reach over 100,000 people with one post. What you want to do with that information they want to get, taking the talks they're around and getting the military and police then they on parade. We want to take down there as well on different platforms then for make people understand. Saying that down there, we intend not to make people afraid and sit down at the house on Monday.
Yeah, so we recognize the fact that social media are the fastest means for disseminate information. Most people now as salon we get Android phones, they listen to news or read about news on their Android phones. They follow any traditional media platform. Sometimes they either because they're not interested or they don't even get the time for do that one day, depending on the kind of work where they're engaged in. So before even them parade, they will do so. We don't develop a lot of flyers. We populate them at the social media platforms. All of the platforms also belong. We even go to the extent that we get bloggers who also help, who also ask for help for disseminating information here. So extensively, you don't go. And we know they only do that and they limiting we to Freetown. We cut across the country. Wait till they do so, it will be replicated.
So who are these bloggers? I mean, we should be very careful. Who are the bloggers? If not being bloggers, they even get, we they utilize them page for past information when I've been threatened violence against one set of people, and you have to use the same blogger and for pass the same information that you have, it would defeat the purpose.
I agree.
Because you're using the wrong channel.
So not credible people in society. There are people that mostly we don't know self. We don't know about politics. We people don't go associate with any political leaning. Now people we go only get a platform on account of maybe the status in society, on account of the fact that we didn't talk to Sierra Leoneans, irrespective of who side you belong. You go out and listen to them. So are they kind of people they know what they talk about? Because so mindful say the social media world, but people are aligned to political groupings, and therefore whatever they talk, the other people in the opposition part, they need to pay attention to them. And so mindful of that one, then that made the one who they ask for, they help you for disseminate. Now just after they remind and say you also get a moral obligation for help, for conscientize the public, for tell them the correct things. Waiting we they do so, now yeah, the one the way they did on social media, when they pass all information, they need to come to traditional media platforms. They only prefer for the social media because I did they like on people them. We go in here, we go in our social media, we go in all of the platforms, whether on our Facebook, whether on our WhatsApp and that kind, because we cock short say wait till they talk like the truth. And wait till they talk now for help, for promote tolerance, and for help for ensure say people they do things away within the provisions of the law. The other people are not going to do that one day.
All right, Khalil, before I have a few more questions.
Maybe I want to get into that discussion there. You know, people they're naive because maybe the level of education, the level of exposure. Me not been there yesterday, but the show of force with the security sector show and go around. By going around, they really should say they're aware of this and all of that. But at the same time, it struck fear into some people then. That is why agencies like we also we go really fine for Mokugode with the security sector and also get civil society on board more together, because people them they don't understand, because sometimes when they see Boku police they're afraid. You understand? And we caution all the give us into the security sector and the police, the army and everybody. They work with them directly, and I enjoy my working relationship with the security sector. Bad people in this country. They able forget small body, small people, they woman them, then they get them for do what they want for do when a dirty bidding. All of the deal with that kind of situation, we will continue to appeal to owner. More self-express restraint. I don't go now Watalo today. We basically Barcelona, the one of the hotspots of the entire week happen.
Yeah.
We say me don't see social media when they say they threaten say they go burn the LUC house, they go damage the LUC in family. Now what a man in back it go get for. So I took my time. I went to him, in ops officer. I sit them down. Me know the kind of pressure on the face because of all what they go on. But what they do when I walk, when I make sure say yes, when I protect yourself, but yes also when I protect the civilians the way they are around, where people they standing bystanders and all of that. When I get intelligence, when I go able for nip some of this thing in the board
before it happen, when I go ahead and do that, because at the end of the day, we don't want no unnecessary deaths by this kind here. And then give me the word, you say, don't get for do that. And specifically, I don't reach out to some of me I don't call them the heads them of the community heads them, they local chiefs them. I don't reach out to some of them. Make them provide information to the security forces.
anytime you see people that they get that way, you know satisfied, because if you can't in a community, it affects you. It affects your family. It affects everybody with it. Anything when I see, when I say not sure of, when I reach out to, if I never reach out to the high security apparatus, when I reach out to me go reach out to them, because one for care as much as possible, more not get no unnecessary bloodletting this time around. We not say people then when they stroke them violence and they then go hide. Then they push innocent people then go before, then go face the problem. Or they want for damage police, then they threaten police. If you threaten police, you get arms, you don't get arms. You go protect yourself. That is why Mr. Will, through you, to the NS Code, to all of the security people, them, wanna watch as much as possible, more protect the people there, because the one that they bring them kind of streets, we not be there. No member of people them, we not innocent people them, we don't sabi, we don't get the information, we don't get the know-how, more protect themselves. But at the still they look inside this camera, Makituman, when you know the politics, no join. Okada rider, when you know the politics, no join. May nobody no come, because we know say politicians then they go in a dark room, they go arrange amongst themselves. Or they go to parliament, they go among them, say, we no go do it. No allow you picking for die for that one day. Na big one.
All right, Andrew, I know say you want for chip in and make some.
I think say we, as a society, we need for past this stage. They one day when they opposition, when they talk, say they want protest, they want demonstrate, not their right. And so I take Mr. William point say is how you go about it. So you see, say for the past 10, 15 years, where people want protest on things when opposition-related sentiments and feelings, the government, they stop them. So I think, say, Mr. Will, we need for reach a situation where somebody say, if I want protest, now the procedure this they go through. Sometimes we'll talk, say, because democracy in a dialogue, not a one way, not a government, no more they talk. Government, there will be certain times where they get what they call hot and difficult conversations. When something can come through, then demonstrations. But if I for law get like a designated area where we will talk, say, down there, they will meet in a stadium from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock, then the protest done. And at least ONS for ensure, say, that for they take the people where they get the issues where they want for actually talk about, let them go address them. I remember when Monday University, we be the protest on school fees, where they say college fee don't increase, when they come. I remember once away, Madam Top Naina been the Minister of Education. Yes, Minister of Education. Umar Fufana was our president. Then go talk, then call everybody, so they can address you, and went back home. I think say Sierra Leoneans, they largely were peaceful. So I think say on the part of the state, we actually need to see how do we manage.
And let's face it, largely we peaceful before the war. After the war, we don't become very.
No. For all the data we may get right now, at the CCA for the past years, not for nothing make with the top the peace index. Largely we are peaceful. The one way they cause them problem there, they are really few. Just go out.
But you only take a spark for set up a fire.
Oh yes, because we don't get along. I think say it behoves we all, government, opposition, for let we see how the thing the way they make we come together. Now focus on that thing and day. The more we focus on that thing and day, now the more we go fail. I think opposition will not be driven on the ground. But the thing way bad, if people are not talk, the opposition, you will see say all of them sentiment and negative sentiment, them will go drive them on the ground. I think say I take Mr. Tutangin point where they talk about leadership, and really Nadana the thing about leadership. I remember when they dismiss Sam's Manor, you can get groups in the SLPP group. The only side we said the grounds where they get for go protest, now the U.S. Embassy, they protected them. So I think so we need for really get this culture, because where you get a democracy, one of the ways when they talk to the democracy goes stronger, now where somebody gets grievance and you get a mechanism for get feedback. And I totally condemn any violence, because and not think, say, anybody where they talk, say, at the call for riot, that's democracy. That's not democracy.
No.
It took one person in the 1990s who monopolized the grievance under one party. It led to 11-year war.
Yeah.
So I think so. We always need to note that.
And you don't use. I mean, this boils down to leadership several times now. So let me ask: who died for show leadership? President of a country or the opposition leader?
Both.
Dr. Samuel Kamara.
Both.
Who died for show leadership? Who died for give? Who died for take?
Both.
Who died for bend over and accept?
Okay, so there was a meeting where Cherry Coco, he talked to IG. In fact, where they make a point, one of them peace meeting there, he say, I like quitting IG do, the Inspector General of Police. He say, I only hope, say, all of you man them, then they actually take orders from you. Because exactly what you do now. So there are islands of success we'll get. So when they talk about who side leadership they come out, all sides get for exercise restraint. So APC SLPP for the past 62 years, then we know. So it's really how they get along. And not get me wrong, it's really a beauty about Sierra Leone. We look at Guinea. Guinea, after every 10 years or 2-3 years, they get cool. So you see, say, then pre-independence party then, like APC SLPP will not allow for let and nurture. They are not like that in Guinea or Liberia. So if we actually focus on changing political institution behavior, a lot of things will change. So in fact, now for that, one of the things why we suggest, they do reflection on the election, we say, I only hope we actually take campaign periods, let it be 3 months. By the beginning of that 3-month day, All-Man Development Manifesto. Nobody talks to this mandate, this is not Timini. Look, actually debate that thing. You talk about toll road. We will get issue around toll road. Say the money boku for them. A lot of people will get issue around the airport. So you get for it talk, say, let's see them contract them. And they talk to me companies, Sierra Leoneans there. Right now, you see, say, the cost of security, it's also high because of the NTND. We don't actually remove money from health, from education for do that. If we not try for resolve them political tension, then and not see how they develop as a country. So when they talk about leadership, I think say the opposition get for no.
We need to wait until after results are announced, election cycle don't end, before we begin to get people and for show leadership. I mean, things are documented of things that were said during the campaign period. Some are very damaging of the other person by both the one that they lead the two big political parties there.
Yes.
So can we for wait until after that period they for show the leadership, or before we get to that period they begin for show the leadership?
Yes, I think.
And help we supporters them or the supporters them for able for see say this is not a war. Now ballot box we they go to. You get ballot paper. Now you go cast. You're not going out there to fight anyone.
So right now, just go ask any political party supporter. Say that party we support, within that slogan they mean. So I go ask somebody, I go Tongo, I say, wait, you wear this big SLPP clothes. I say, what do you mean by talk and do? Now he say, Alekam. So if you go to the north, it's the same thing. So we know that people in the raise they be raised in this country follow hate one another. If you are raised in Bo, the kind of they talk say not trust them and they don't like us. If you are raised in McKinney, it's the same. So now you right for talk say it has to be a constant engagement on the NTR. But waiting now the most important thing now leadership. I see to tell
you are disagreeing, eh?
I disagree with them. Because me and this man are same village will come out. But me and married up north. Yeah, in back married up north. Yeah. Do we hate them? No. These are our in-laws. What's in the thing wrong? Now politicians and they imbibe all of these things. Me and us have been joining church. Me and don't do for over 20 years.
Yeah.
We never talk tribe.
One day. Never.
So this is something where not to we the creator. Not to the ordinary man the creator. Me, sorry content. Now, the man band every day that we post na potu, way down potu, We said they come on, they say they come on Kamakwe. So we can't ended up my brother. They may in grow, they may eat in the same pot. So no,
but
let me come, Lavali. The thing where they about politicians, them, whether they manipulate people, them, it only happens when it comes around the time of election. What we are doing wrong with the fall for the mates, we should not do that.
But can the politicians stop doing that around elections?
Because they are weak.
Because
the man are weak. But listen to me.
We can agree, say 100% they're weak. But if the politicians not feed them with the information to make them feel like, say, they can go up in arms against the next person.
The man will not get debates. What are the issues really where we talk about? Say, me and you disagree on this policy, me and you disagree. Let's talk about economy. Everybody talks, say, with the expensive man, because the economy is poor. Did you hear an alternative argument on the economy from the opposition? Never.
I mean, while they disagree, but today if you put box, the same way McKinney they vote, not so bold they vote. So reach that stage, if you put monkey, they go a green panel. They say, Buabi say, it likely say he go win election in certain parts of the country. If you put that same monkey, you go a green panel.
Red.
It's a PR seke. You get some people there. So whatever the case, that's how we have been socialized. Unfortunately, politics don't get a big bearing. So you watch tomorrow. If watch all the one then way, then they do that thing. Just watch their names.
Is it that bad, Andrew, that you get for people and get for be identified that way? They know.
Unfortunately, that's how it is. Because if now, right now, in August last year, Ukraine don't start. COVID, they threaten, and the economy we don't eat too much into people's livelihoods. But even if we take August, even before August, in 2020, you look at the riots. It was in Lunsa, in Bombali on the generator, Tombo. If you watch, so not for say, the price of rest Nabo is lower than McKinney. No, it's where I stand in relation to power. Unfortunately, they don't make you believe say.
So maybe something we need for say a different way. Rather you say if you watch the name, you rather say if you check who side the people and tin up in proximity to power, maybe you go better that way.
Unfortunately, ethno-regional polarization, we left for the gloss over them.
No, we're not glossing over it. This whole thing is about knowledge and understanding. That's where we come in. For instance, towards this election, we've been getting small resources. We go base, we fight. We get youth bill, na McKinney. We get cave, na McKinney. We get the disabled, na McKinney. We get Brenner, na McKinney. We went to them, we gave them resources, both material, and get them for go out there in the communities. Well, much as McKinney votes predominantly APC, did you hear any issue of violence? Will not happen on no side. No, it didn't happen. Because all of the demographics where people that go to and go would wink them, we first don't get to them and tell them, say this election is not about this, it's not about that, this is what this is about. So we'll make sure say then ready-made soldiers that they can get for go for main violence, we'll take them away from them by giving them knowledge and understanding. What our politicians are doing to the people of this country, then they make profits by the people then gullibility and a lack of knowledge and understanding. What you and I should do, you in the media, you in civil society, and me at NACSED, and other institutions, including ONS, what we should do is let us reach more out to the people then before the politicians get there. Because the politicians then get to the people then first ahead of me, then they go give them some message. For me, go reverse that unconsciously they give them, it could be difficult. So I don't blame the people. They don't have information. And what we also bring, I always say to your bosses in our meetings, we are living a void, information void. Believe me, even Monday Sept, there was a time when they call people, the women in government. for get information out of them, it's going to be very difficult. So if you don't get information from them already in government, maybe in a government, where you know saying many people in the country for information, it's a difficult thing altogether. So if we create that void, the man we mean bad, it will come inside you. If then your message stick, for more to pull that message back to the people in mind, it's going to take time. What I would advise, leadership. You ask Mr. Lavali if the president or what he say. Me, I will say president because the box stops with him. Now the man that when you don't come with your agenda, when you want to make a country better, we don't see what you don't do in education, we don't do what you don't do in other things. It is on him to succeed. Somebody else is coming to distract him. So that way they come for distract you, bring and come. May not distract you. May you make sure so you succeed. May you work with her. And that's what we go advice.
All right, Andrew, I know so you still get some more points for me, but please, let's take Willie. Don't they seem like it don't be between you and Tuzangi for long. Now you say we did level 1, things are normal. Now, but obviously the reason make una day out they talk now because una no one for underestimate waiting could potentially happen tomorrow if it happen, as it be happening on August 10th. Now, are there hotspots? Areas where the security sector say this side will need for surveillance 24/7. Don't I don't get prior interceptions? Are there prior arrests? Are there how much surveillance on I don't do now then side and they want to call hotspots?
So hotspots we don't name them on air because you would also send scary information to the people that we ordinarily reside in the community today. Some places actually we describe as hotspots, but just theaters. We say people when they come out from afar, they can't execute and go back.
Okay.
Not like saying that the people we did it, and they really want to do bad. They not forget say the bad person gets different way how they carry out their activities and in a way for let them know even for detect them. So we mindful of that one day. We they do a lot of scanning. We security provision or interventions informed by intelligence. We get intelligence officers deployed across the country. And so, yes, we get places where the hotspots side away very prone to violence, either by virtue of the people where they day or the nature of activities where they happen around it. So, Nadani can determine the description what they talk about, either hotspot, gray area.
So, Lunsana want the hotspot then they?
Say?
Lunsana want the hotspot then they?
Well, I not go. Like I say, I not go really want for because I go the unnecessarily put the people on the spotlight, and I tell you whether na Lunsaro, whether na Freetown, whether na Moyambao, Sami Komoto, if you name them, you go like the stereotype everybody.
So, but then tomorrow,
because we know say people in their community they women well
from tonight to tomorrow morning, are we expecting police officers will be on the streets?
We are already on the streets across the country. We are already in the streets. We deployed, and you see, my brother mentioned about exercising restraint. Yes, I think the chairman mentioned that one day. Now, because it's sometimes difficult for manage rowdy situations. Now that make we appeal for let we not even allow the rowdiness take place. Ordinarily, we want for do we normal work, detect and prevent crime. Police investigate, do that for do bad and that kind of thing, and ensure say the populace safe. But when you now create a situation, you say it becomes rowdy. Now then they go say you either under police or you over police. And so taking it difficult to even determine whether armed or unarmed civilians.
All right. So before we take text messages and comments on my Facebook page, I'll ask again, Abdul Will, are we safe tomorrow? The people of Sierra Leone, we safe for go out? Can I take my if I want to look around tomorrow, I can drive around from Godrich to PZ to Eastern Police and say that I'm safe and the security apparatus ready for provide safety and security to the people of Sierra Leone?
Sierra Leone very, very safe. And I have to assure Sierra Leoneans for let them go about their normal business. And for state safe.
Also, please confirm, maybe to thank you can confirm. I see posts and things that go around that president will be walking around tomorrow. In fact, they using motorcar for go walk out from at some point or go carry on at some point at the center of the city and waka for sure say the country safe.
That's very assuring, and I go implore to do that, because that's what leadership is about. If the president want to do that, by all means, let him do that, so that people then go know say if the man say we can consider the waka, so more go waka. I go want for applaud him, I go clap for him, may do that, may assure the people of Sierra Leone say, hey, I'm in charge, you guys voted me, I'm in charge, I'm inside this country, I'm safe, you all are safe.
All right, thank you very much, Uwan, for joining Salifu for some of our comments. I've seen some of the comments already on Facebook there. It's quite heated, eh? So tell me exactly what the viewers then they say.
All right, thank you, John Conte. Just like you say, it's quite heated. So we will try our best for take the text and we at least tailored directly to the conversation, not the one where people and they hit themselves back and forth. So the first text where I would take now from Infa Amara Mahmoud Sise. I think they ask a question to Kalilu. They say, Kalilu, please don't compare Donald Trump issues with what happened in Sierra Leone. He asked for a recount of certain states, which was done. The same law you are quoting right about Election Act of 2022 was not followed by ECSL. We all know we are in the state of political limbo. Tell the ECSL to produce the disaggregated data. Simple. And Eddie Grant, they say, it's simple, sir. The protest has no head, neither leader. How can the police grant a permit to faceless protesters? And Michael Joseph Kanu, they say, if we copy something, why can't we use it wisely and make amendments to make sure it works with our own system? And Kumba Kamara is saying, the police have problem, but the people too are lawless. And Rugiatu Sise is saying, people are not happy. Sierra Leone is not a safe place. Politicians, them, don't divide us. And Sise Ibrahim Kabele, you guys have to tell Mohammed Kone to provide the data pooling station to pooling station. We are waiting for it. And Ibrahim Socialist Tula is saying, Salon na lawful state. We aren't ready to go back to the dark age. Thanks to the security sector for maintaining high-level security in the country. And Usman Eminence is saying, democracy is just a camouflage in Sierra Leone. The judiciary, police, and medical sections have all gone from bad to worse. Alusain Koya, Sierra Leone is peaceful. This is a country of law and order. If you want to demonstrate, go through the due process. If you fail, the law will surely take its course because your demonstration cannot stop the survival of the state. And Israel Ojeke Papa Sr. says, why ONS, police, and other security forces scaring the people with massive show of strength? This causes unnecessary fear that worry the people. That is where UONS, etc., are threatening the security of the state. And Kumba Kamara again, if people abide to the law, police don't have nothing to do with those who abide to the law. And Kamara Charles, they say, the concern may sometimes genuine, but you should not take the law into your hands. And Kamara Charles again, protest is part of the democratic principles, but there are legal procedures that must be followed by whosoever wants to protest. However, whoever refuses to go through legal procedures, that individual is a human rights violator. And Israel Okeke Papa Senior again, he said, what does relatively peaceful mean, Mr. Will? What are the parameters used by you to measure peace or relatively peaceful? And Lamin Sobe is saying, opposition parties should learn to accept election results as the boycott will not solve any problem. Elections are essential aspects of any democratic society, providing citizens a platform to exercise their right to vote and choose their representatives. However, it is common for opposing parties to experience disappointment or disagreement when they do not achieve their desired electoral outcomes. Nevertheless, it is crucial for these parties to understand that rejecting election results and reporting to boycott only hinder democratic process and exacerbate societal division. And Ronald Bradford Ignitors Georgetown says, these are the signs of a divided country, purely on tribal basis. Yet there are those who think it could be swept under the carpet and ignored. The reason, if not addressed, will lead to more problems, especially with the economic hardship facing all, including those who voted in the government. And Bradford again, demonstration in itself is not a crime. A democratic country should embrace demonstration without riots or violence. And Lamin Sobe, I agree that people should not engage in unlawful demonstrations. Peaceful protests are an important expression of free speech and a way to bring attention to issues that need to be addressed. However, engaging in an unlawful activities such as vandalism, violence, or destruction of properties undermines the purpose of the protest and can lead to harm to oneself and others. It is crucial to abide by the law while exercising our right to protest responsibly and effectively. And Prince Deka is saying, I don't support protest with a faceless leader because it will definitely turn into riot. Just curious, what will happen if people come out in numbers? Will the military and police shoot to kill? If so, will it not make the government look bad? And Abiz Kams is saying, I'm expecting the police and the army to be professional tomorrow. Allow the people to express themselves, period, as long as they are peaceful and don't abuse or destroy properties. And the last message I'll take for today is from Simba Cole. The people demonstrated during the elections, but they were cheated by ECSL. John, please keep in that the protest is against ECSL. I hope we can channel our conversation back to the main reason why they want to protest. Back to you, John Conte.
All right, thank you very much. Well, I mean, the request for protest wasn't sent to us, AYV. It wasn't sent to. so you're purely there. You say they won't forget to protest. So we are asking ONS, for instance, now. I mean, if you were listening and watching the program, I ask ONS if they receive an official request indicating that they won't forget the demonstration, obviously to the police. Then ONS will go for access. But then we'll confirm, say no, they did not receive. Okay, so if the reasons be stated, then all don't say. I mean, the police for sure will grant people the request for protest. But then somebody asked that, what if people come out tomorrow in numbers, and waiting the police and the military go do? Then go shoot for kill. Or just one for the the person, because as he said, now one message that will be interest you of most of the messages that have been coming.
Personally, I'm optimistic, say people are not going to come out and do things and will or less. But for also state, say, worst case scenario, if that happen, we go use due process or bring people into book who will be engaged in that one day. And we don't talk about exercising restraint. We will do as much as possible for exercise restraint. But for state say, even from the onset, before the events, where people and they predict what can happen tomorrow, they're violent in nature. They not say they can't demonstrate peacefully. They say they can't take over government. When they come to State House, this person for go and that kind of thing. And who they do so? If you not join with actions, we will do this bad thing to you. So that one day, from the very onset, say it's violent in nature. You don't already set the basis on which you get for operate. And we get a responsibility for ensure that did not happen. Now that make we appeal to every member of the Sierra Leonean society. Remain law abiding. Not fall for them calls of people in the mix. So then people will be follow the directives of other people away there abroad on August 10th of last year. They know they again today with them in incarceration, who said in day. Some people have sadly lost their lives. They no go ever come again. So now that one they want for witness. And somebody say, if police shoot and kill, go put the government in a bad name, they give people. We know saying that kind thing they people want for achieve. They want for let the sector play into their hands. We don't state say they want for use the outcome of their events them within the set for score cheap ideological points. One, they will use them pictures and other events and they for present the country image badly. Secondly, then they use that for make money. What do I mean by that? We don't see the pictures of people we die, we lost, or we wound. People that don't use them, go on social media, set GoFundMe pages, and then eat some money then they. The money they reach to the families, they reach to the one away in a jail, and that kind of thing. So why me? A whole me go on for allow myself for be injured, for let somebody use that picture there for go make money for himself and his family. Then at the service to humanity of the highest order. Now that make, we talk this one devoid of every sentiment, but just out of the fact say, we get a responsibility, a sense of duty for serve humanity. Then people they call on us, so then demonstrations and the lawyer they say ab initio from the very beginning, they're violent in nature. And we no go agree for later one they happen. Bike man, where they ride in bike, if you have to go ride, if I do and so without anybody disturbing him. Motor riders, possibly open in shop. We don't hear audio messages where they say if you open your shop tomorrow, we will go thief inside here. Is that a demonstration? It acts, it presents itself as a common criminal, and the law will treat you like that one day. We're not going to mix with words around that one day. So the aspect of restraining will only be informed about how people conduct themselves. Now that make the vast majority, because one other thing where the people who call for them protests they put across. Now that every salon person, now one learning demonstrations happen. Not true. Now complete lies. I know say millions of other Sierra Leoneans, I don't want this kind of thing to happen. So that law, that kind of thing they do, so that for law now into things, doing things away wrong. And they also say international community, they even support this thing. Imagine how mischievous that is. I say, now that make ECOWAS there, now that make Commonwealth there, now that make AU there, and that kind of thing, for support demonstrations for happen. Last year, before I concluded, other people I think, we been get 2 U.S. naval vessels, the Menina Wataki, last year, before August 10. Coincidentally, you know what somebody do? He author an audio. He say 2 boats in there and a gun boats them. They come up from America and a soldier man and they inside it. They come for protect una where they demonstrate. Say anybody will fire tear gas safe. They go can arrest this person. They go do this. They go that and that kind of thing. We all be no say that a lie. The same year again they don't use that same kind of pattern for life and people them. We been get a British vessel. We also been come for train with officers them na the maritime domain. They say that boat take come if I for can protect massive ship. Then again a lie. That boat take come, you don't know what you get for do, you don't go back na England, no say come out. So people continuously they use high level deception, then they take every situation, then paint them for like a feeble the reality, where they very well know say na lie. So people get an opportunity. For look at the truth and believe in them, rather than for look at the lies
So
and believe in the
security
lies.
operations, interestingly, they deal with plenty intelligence, but they don't communicate. Yeah. Where they left plenty gap for people like that one, and the way they manipulate people and minds there, for able to forget window, huge one, for pass their own information, they will make you believe them instead of you believe the security apparatus. Like to you, Kalilu. Based on all the comments that were coming and that existing gap there.
Yeah, I mean, I always John, I always talk about that existing gap. We're in a small institution, we're nascent in a way. We don't grab now, but we still get that challenge. We don't for reach outside. The president may really think correctly where he say it is set up this institution. And even this in the second term, you don't even add Panam. You don't appoint a minister for information and civic education, because as these things say, it believes citizenship education is very important for this country. Always in man they talk say we go Muska man and they say that go Molika. Yeah, we see. We see when people at the right time, people that they believe them. Knowledge and understanding. People that don't get knowledge and understanding, that void where John they talk about, where information get gap. Someone will come with you in the baru and put inside that gap there. Then where it stick. You get for pull out the point before you get that information. That is why it's important more always give out information. But somebody say me they compare Donald Trump because Donald Trump will go ask for a count. Donald Trump enchman them. They not go broke any place for me they go get recount. Then go to court. Then the court say when I go recount yonder. Who side then go wrong? Where then go attack the own parliament. Capital. Someone don't go, even the Proud Boys the leader. 20 years, someone don't go 15 years, someone don't go 17 years. Donald Trump when they respect for, he say me I know they do. Therefore, people for land say, even who say inside democracy, when America is the biggest democracy, they don't allow lawlessness. Man, they talk about law and taking the law into your own hands. Then Proud Boys say, and now they will take law into their own hand, then they're in jail. Inside America, they're like today. Even when we continue, they will come on August 10, still they're in jail because they're not supposed to come out. The other man they talk about vandalism. Really, the whole thing where they make this whole demonstration business, people then they freedom. People then they freedom. I remember within our college, we do a multi-party now demonstration. With the common Ajala, with the worker 7 miles, with the Kana, Natama Junction. All to do with the rights and then boss them. So the boss will say now, democracy, we talk about democracy. We didn't hurt anybody, nobody not get hurt, we go back to our campus, full. I'm sure.
Well, I mean, but a lot of people go tell you, see, that because now students and they understand what thing for happening. I mean, if you open the floodgates for people, they don't take. So they don't take. If
more even say them parliamentarians, they will not decide for going to parliament. When there's so much against what the police they do, they say, hey, we in the electoral representation of people who don't want for going to parliament. The whole placard they say that they can't demonstrate the police. If police deny them, we in the also, although the government they pay me. They are also within a civil society. They will go out there and tell the police, say, no, we're not for granting people here. All about demonstration is a show. They say demonstrate, show. When I go show, say, when I'm satisfied with this, lawfully, if we're not satisfied with the justice system, when I go with the elected leaders and some other one them, when I go to law court, political protection, when I go to law court, when I hold a placard, when I make a statement, now law courts make the law, may all know say when they name and shame the judiciary say they're not fair. But for go take them from Kamakwe, go take them come on Mabonkene, when I bring them come now say make them can do demonstration, that's no longer a demonstration. Because that one they don't even know the way around the city. What do you mean they say at the beg the leadership of the opposition? If they have any way of reaching out to those people that they want for organizing state.
So by the way, can I just pause you there? I just don't get, because while it's really on the program, but they try to reach out to the opposition, all People's Congress Party. Before we forget, at least a statement from them. I reach out to the publicity secretary of the All People's Congress Party. You don't send me a message and ask if I can can quote you during the live show, and he says, yes, you can quote the All People's Congress Party that we did not call for a demonstration. We do not know the planners, and it has nothing to do with us. We ask our membership and supporters to stay calm and safe and be law-abiding. CDI Tunis, National Publicity Secretary.
That is a very good one. I hope say, not only sending it to you, I hope say CDI Tunis go be a proud citizen and come out together with the leadership. When they made this statement overnight, just like how before the election, when they say they don't want to participate, later on they put social media then say, many people then go take part in the election. The community members and the whole boo homes them, they even go learn boo home to me in my office, then go around all of Kutori and they tell people they say, many people they can't participate. I'm challenging them, when they show leadership, when they go up there, that message they don't send to me so, when they go up there and make them public say, they don't support no demonstration, when they tell their supporters there, when they don't be part of this demonstration, that could be a very good thing for a citizen to do. Right. Also, the governing party, especially the presidency, let them continue to stay on the path where they don't choose for dialogue. Men in dialogue with the opposition, because at the end of the day, now then get a plan where they don't put as to how they want to carry the country go for the next 5 years. Let them continue for encourage everybody, more get on board, more no confusion in this country, more move the country go forward.
All right, let me go back to the message we get from CDI Tunis, the National Publicity Secretary of the All People's Congress Party. He said, we did not call for a demonstration. We do not know the planners. It has nothing to do with us. We ask our membership and supporters to stay calm and safe and be law-abiding. Let me go over that one more time. He says, the National Publicity Secretary of People's Congress Party, CDI Tunis, we did not call for a demonstration. We do not know the planners, and it has nothing to do with us. We ask our membership and supporters to stay calm and safe and be law-abiding. Andrew, I think this is the best note we can see.
That's leadership.
Yeah.
That's Nadande Nain, I think he has been the conversation right through in all of this, without them for emerge as leaders. So I think Simeon, the biggest takeaway from this, national cohesion is a big challenge for we.
It is.
And we do some work from Mr. Toscani, we do some research for them. And this research was focusing on young people. You get over 70% of young people, and they believe the party within they support, if that party they win election, all of their needs will be met. Some they have jobs, some they get food crisis, some they know will get money. So I think politicians they need for really be honest and explain what the situation is. It's not possible for let SLPP get job, get kind of power today. They all made their body and girl and go. It's not possible for let APC kind of power today. They all let him kneel in bad and when they support them, then get woke. It's not possible. You know, when politicians can preach hate and they talk about ethnicity, you when they listen to me for no say, they won't use you. Because that person they try for cover something about them. You don't let ask and question. You don't want to say, but how you go make a get job? Explain to me, ba. And unfortunately, with conversation in democracy, not reach that point yet. So always now, to forgive me, this McKinney this way, that way. And people they know say, APC, SLPP.
Why you ask for to thank you? The reality.
No. So and the thing we're bad now, if we forget for talk about those things, and we begin to exploit the negativities in our society, where something fear don't dare across the world, they talk say no, let's demonstrate for cost of living. You know what they mean? We're not going to get conversation on how they fix the airport where they make sure and they come on air, they go Guinea. We're not going to fix that toll road where at any time across they actually finance China. We're not able to talk about anything because what we don't do, we don't securitize the conversation, and a lot of people they will talk say, me, I'm not even speak for that thing.
Yeah.
So it's fine for let we understand that. So normally there is this difference between populism and where they talk about for really talk about the thing we matter. The thing in populism, we see a lot of Donald Trump they preach and quite a lot, but inside salon here, now for let I go team up na bow, they go talk say this why it's about us. No, it's you are trying to be populist. You know if I tell Bo say then Rudy allow see how they fix them. And I want for see politicians the one day we go talk say we get 14,000 kilometers of roads. We don't just fix 30% of down this year.
For fix this.
Yeah, this year we'll fix another 15%.
Right.
And then you will get now conversation between like. Let me just end lastly. Then country then they will support where they talk say they admire the democracy because they all in NTS so they don't overcome them. If 2 voters then come out here in college and graduate na university from university in the US, Democrat and Republican they tell them different things. The Democrat will say, me, for let you get job, I get for tax the rich and I give them small company there because they will employ you, get job faster. The Republican will say, no, in fact, then small, then they will create jobs. Me, the rich are the tax them less, then they get more money for create factory. Then when I get a conversation. But unfortunately, that is not the case. So thank you, Tunis, for saying we actually need to forget about that. Lord can sit down at the studio and discuss how they move forward.
All right, and we'll thank you very much, gentlemen, for our time this evening. Unfortunately, time today not to be best ally. We need to go for news at 9, but I want to say thank you, Abdul Karim Will, for your time. Thank you, Khalil Lututrangi, as well, for your time, and Andrew Lavali, thank you very much for your time. But I want to give each one of you now 30 seconds as a message to Sierra Leoneans. We think say the best way for solve or address any situation now for Gona Street and demonstrate. 30 seconds and then I'll round up. Abdul Karim, let's start off with you.
Thank you very much. For assure the people and say we're in full control as a sector and let them go about the normal business as long as they remain law abiding, we're ready for protect them. And let them call on 119 toll-free line if they get any security concerns what they have for bring to your attention.
All right, thank you, Abdul Karim Will, to Khalil Tutangi.
I know you talk about Poloko too. I talk about Poloko. I was just going to say, I want to commend the political leadership on both sides because they don't say, without any say in the chat for engage, they get a rapprochement. Now that's we the people then they look forward to them. And we still continue to encourage the president, the buck stops with you. Get out there, get with them, just like I don't start to do. And when I said with the in opposition, do ya with the president call, like the nation call, when I work with the president, most of this problem.
Thank you, Khalil. Andrew.
Yes, I think two people, one Dr. Samora Kamara and President Bio, I think all of this deal with them now. We own generation and the generation behind they look at how they save this hour. On the part of President Bio, this year with the talk about inclusivity, it should not just be at the level of rhetoric. People should see it should be seen to be done. So a lot of some people in Namakini talk say, how many times President Bio don't sleep Namakini throughout in time? I think, and then they reinforce this division. So I think we need to take steps. It's laudable for Larry talks that they invite the opposition law get a conversation with them, but over and beyond that, how every day of reaction. I think Samora Kamara too. You don't start something really good, pull out your supporters, then go vote. Election on one side, they win. So there is still leadership and statesmanship if people in the opposition. So I think waiting and not start to learn. I think it's very encouraging. All right. Can just be a better country in 3 years.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Peace, security, and national cohesion, where we clear that, Mr. Will mentioned that peace, we're relatively peaceful as a country. Security, we're safe. National cohesion, and we enforce and we echo several times that we are far from where we want to be as far as the nation is concerned. But that not give anybody the right or reason for step out on the streets and say one for demonstrate, especially when you call for the destruction of lives and property. It don't make sense. It's not in your power. It's not in your hands. for create life, for give people their money, for get them property. So he left with you, stay home, be peaceful, or go about your normal business on Monday morning. And then we all make Sierra Leone a very peaceful place. Finally, to the message again from the All People's Congress National Publicity Secretary, CDI Tunis. He said, we did not call for demonstration. We do not know the planners, and it has nothing to do with us. We ask our membership and supporters to stay calm, safe, and be law-abiding. Thank you very much to everyone of our watch AYV on Sunday. This program will be up again next week. But coming up right now, at 9 p.m. will be the AYV Primetime News. Then John Conte will be in AYV on Sunday too. Now, many thanks for watching and listening. A repeat broadcast today on Thursday at 10 p.m. Good night.